Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And Hinata is here. EX Wind Hinata, the Piercing Blossom, in quite a nice getup, if I do say so myself. She is ridiculous. All right, she is very, 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 very good on the Fount of Wisdom team. I have not tried her out on, other teams. We will during her showcase, but also, side note, her showcase will probably not be up until Wednesday because I am busy tonight and I'm going to be busy recording it tomorrow after I get home from work. So I apologize in advance, but her showcase will be a tiny bit late. But I think you guys will live. If you really want to see it, just go look at the end of the live stream for her, I guess. And we did some testing with her. So I know she's very good on her team. We did 1 million damage. Easy. With 3 buffs. Not even the full buff. We did 1 million damage. Spoiler alert. On Inferno 1. And that was the EX ult. And that was the 3, 80-point buffs. And we could have had 2 more buffs. 3, technically. So she's very, very good. But let's take a look at her kit. Sadly, I did have to go to Pity, but I didn't have to go to Pity. I got her at 160, and then I just kept going to the Pity. So I have her at 104. So she is well, you can't see it, but she's a physical unit, very obviously. She is Wind. She's on Fount of Wisdom, Shizu's Will, and the new Warrior's Mind category, which the icon was in the data, but it wasn't named until now. So she's currently the only unit on Warrior's Mind. She's very obviously in attack growth. She uses a katana. Strangely, they didn't give her a gear pack, though, which I don't really know why, but it's neither here nor there. Anyways, her ult, single target wind, 490% normal damage, and then she has the EX ult to do 1.5 times that, so she hits quite hard, 735% or something like that. Math is hard. Her first skill, which we knew from the skill teaser, increases Fount of Wisdom and Shizu's Will allies attack by 60%, and then her own ult damage by 40. So 60 is the highest single attack buff in the game, just for, the attack stat. However, you are limited to Fount of Wisdom and Shizu's Will. And if we go ahead and bring up the characters on Fount of Wisdom and Shizu's Will, it's looking a little slim. So, Shizu's Will has the 3-star and then the 4-star Chloe. So, funny, useful, not useful, can be useful against Milim, can be useful for stuns, not useful. Okay, so you're going to give a 60% attack buff to these guys. Or Space Rimuru, who already has an attack buff of 40%, which, granted is less, but he already does it for the team, and it's everybody. And then Yuki gives himself his own attack buff anyways, alongside something else that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But, he also doesn't need an attack buff, right? So Shizu, very obviously, needs the attack buff. So she's really a 60% buffer for herself, because then you go down to the Fount of Wisdom and you've got Gapta, Rimuru, Albus, and yes, you will definitely make all 3 of those characters hit much harder with that buff. But Hinata is the primary nuker now, and so far, right now, there's not a stage in this game that can survive a Hinata ult and then another ult, even if you don't have that buff. So it's like having it be on 4 units, kind of unnecessary, just with the amount of power. If you have these 3 units plus Diablo, you're gonna clear a lot of things. A lot of things. So, realistically, this attack buff is not that good. It is a personal attack buff for herself with the capability of buffing units that are either brand spanking new or units that don't need it. So that is kind of a good perk and a not so good perk. But it is a 60% attack buff. It does cost 80 points. And then she has her own personal attack or ult buff for 40%, which means that the team that we were previously running, which had Water Shuna, you don't need Water Shuna anymore, because you already have an Orange Orb Changer in Rimuru, and now you have an ult buffer. But again, that ult buff is only for herself instead of being for the team. So it is kind of a give and take scenario. It's still a good skill when you're making Hinata the primary focus of your damage. The second skill is not what I expected, but also still very good for the team, right? So she's a special converter to blue. So 1 green, 1 orange, 2 blues. The same skill that we were using Wind Trainee for, or if you didn't have Trainee, you could use Frey, or the free-to-play Soka. 3 of those units worked okay. Frey costs 30 points, unfortunately, because she's older. But I didn't think we needed it, because we have 2 free-to-play units that already do it. And yeah, they don't fit the meta, but they're still, I guess, available for everyone to have, quote-unquote. So I didn't think they would give it to her. I thought they would give her another damage skill, or put the alt buff down here as a second part of her skill. I didn't really know. I didn't think we were going to get it. But so now we no longer really need Wind Trainee on the team. But you could still have Wind Trainee on the team, because we've also taken away Wind Shuna, or Water Shuna, for the alt buffer and the orb changer. So it's like, we still have a spot. And Wind Trainee will help you rush the EX alt, because that's 35% alt gauge. Plus the small wind buff, which will definitely help her. Gopta gives 30, Trainee gives 15, but I mean, anything is better. Anything is good, right? Especially if you're going to have Hinata on the front line for pretty much the entire fight, because you're trying to get an EX alt. So, I mean, not what I expected, still very useful for the team. I mean, if you run Trainee, you literally have 4 orb changers on the team. Albus, Rimuru, Trainee, Hinata. And so you're not really going to be hurting for orbs, and as long as you have the points, you can pretty much get out of any scenario. So, I mean, that's very good. The Valor trait, I really don't care about. I mean, 2 combo, they nerf green damage. Right now, the new rule for Valor Cup is you have a 2-2-2 spread and 50 points, so you could change it to literally anything, and I don't think people are going to be changing to greens, so I don't really like this Valor skill. It's not really important, though. There's only a few Valor skills that are actually useful, and most of them have to do with sealing protection, or sealing specific skills. That's it. Her actual trait, when you have 3 characters, increase the protection gauge by 3 every 2 turns, so just like Water Shion, just like, I think it's Violet that does that. So every 2 turns you get extra protection gauge, which is good for turn 2s. When you get her up to 112, you get up to 5 points every 2 turns. Also pretty good. If you get her to 120, she gets an extra 20% damage on her ult, which means that it's going to be doing 510% normal damage here. And then the EX ult will do 750%? 750 if my math is right, which I don't think it is, but whatever. Regardless, it's still really good. It's still really good. And then the EX board, when Rimuru is here, which obviously if you're using the new team, you have the EX Rimuru, you get extra Pierce Power, and she buffs her own stats on the EX board with the more physical characters you have. So that is what Hinata does. But, like, is she worth the summon? And I will say this as clearly as possible. If you don't have Diablo and Rimuru, no. It's not worth it. I'm sorry. She hits like a truck. She looks real good in this outfit. But the fact that she only buffs Fount of Wisdom and Shizu's Will attack right here means that you're limited to the Fount of Wisdom team, because the Shizu's Will team doesn't exist. So if you don't have a Fount of Wisdom team to run, and you don't have Diablo giving you, the 20% stats and then the extra damage versus water, she's just a really cool character to put on the old Wind team. The old Wind 2.0 team, which she'll be good there, no doubt. It's just that team doesn't raise skill cap. It hurts for points a lot. It's not meant for an 80 cost skill. So she's not going to run efficiently there. And another thing to note is that this is a 1-turn skill. You can't use this and hide it in the back and still retain full power, because you'll keep the 60% attack. You'll lose the 40% ult, because that's on the orb, and that goes away after 1 turn, guaranteed. So you can't really hold her in the back with this buff and still, make her hit full force. So if you do not have the Fount of Wisdom team, if you don't have Diablo, if you don't have Rimuru, Albus is the most skippable unit of this meta. Unfortunately, I really like Albus. I like my snake waifus. But her skill can be found elsewhere. You can run, Water Reamer, the free-to-play, for the green orb change. You can run Raphael for the Pierce. Yes, you're losing out on the 50% Pierce resistance down, which is significant, but it's less significant than her buff and less significant than Reamer's buff. So, you don't have Hinata, or you have Hinata, you don't have Diablo, you don't have Reamer, you don't have Albus. I'm sorry. She's a really good placeholder on the win team. And that's about it. If you have the Fount of Wisdom team, then yes, she is 100% worth it. And I feel like that if you have crystals and you have the entire meta currently, you should summon for her, because she will assist you in doing ridiculous amounts of damage. I don't think you need her, because, Albus is single target. You can get attack buffs from somewhere else, you can get alt buffs from somewhere else, and you can still hit very, very hard. It's just that Hinata will help you hit even harder and do stupid numbers and make you giggle like a schoolgirl. So that is my advice. If you have the Fount of Wisdom, go for it. If you don't, she's not going to help you. She's not going to help you. I'm sorry to say. You could put her on a team with Cabby that's running greens, but she's a blue orb changer, so it doesn't really work that well. You could surround her with other green orb changers, sure, and that'll probably work. But I mean, you still need other buffers to make her do a lot of damage. So during my showcase, it'll probably be a long one, because I'm going to try and use her off teams, and I'm going to try and show the good and the bad of her. Also, her banner is, not what I would consider the greatest thing in the world, okay? Like, you have her, and you have Wind 1.0 and 2.0, which Dino, sorry, I don't like Dino, he's not a good character. Trainee is a pretty good character. Diablo is a competent DPS unit. Butler Veldora, not it. Maid Maru, everyone knows my thoughts on him. Valentine, she's old. She's very old. She came out in November of 2021. She can still, work on teams. It's just that none of these characters are damage dealing units. Hakuro, OG unit. Milim, OG unit. Gabiru is a decent protector. Shuna is not the greatest thing in the world. Veldora is an OG character from release. And that's pretty much it. That's all you have, right? Hinata, Dino, Trainee, Diablo, Veldora, Rimuru, Lumi, Hakuro, Milim. This is it. These are all the 5 stars you're gonna pull. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 good units on this banner. You're not gonna pull you're not gonna pull any other good units. You're not gonna pull Earth meta. You're not gonna pull Water meta. You're not gonna pull Light meta. You're just gonna pull Wind. And a lot of these units are not good. So that is the only thing that I would, is gonna deter people from wanting to summon, is that they don't need or want these units apart from Hinata. So that is another downside to her banner, unfortunately. If you don't have any of these characters, if you don't have Hinata, Albus, or these two, and you're like, what should I summon on? If you are not sold on this meta, then I would honestly say save. I would tell you to save your crystals, skip next month as well, because at the end of April, going into May, will be the half anniversary. And based on what happened the last half anniversary that gave us the hero and Milim, the units are probably going to be cracked. Alright? Even more so than this team can do. I'm doing 1 million damage with the Hinata. I bet your sweet ass that whatever comes to the half anniversary is going to do 2 million. Easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And if not, they're going to do some other ridiculously stupid things, because the hero has the rewind. The hero is still the only unit that has it. The hero, they are actively trying to push out of the game because she is so good. She was too good for too long, and they are just now making it so where everyone has so much crit resistance, you really can't use her anymore, except in Valor Cup, which I mean is fine. So guaranteed the half anniversary units are going to look really good. So if you don't have any of these units and you're only like, I have 3,000 crystals, I wouldn't bother. I just wouldn't bother. I would skip this month, I would skip next month, and then I would summon like all hell breaks loose when the half anniversary comes. But that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the new Hinata. Let me know also how your summons went. and I guarantee you they went better than mine, probably. But yeah, so far, I am happy with Hinata when she's on the Fount of Wisdom team. And I have yet to see if I will still remain happy with her when I take her off of that team. But that's it from me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you later.